So I'm going to start out with the very first. And as we were trying to think of this thing, I kept thinking of the little poem that I learned as a kid that said, to market, to buy a fat pig, home again, jiggity jig. To market, to buy a fat hog, home again, jiggity jog. So the story I'm going to share with you has to do with, well, a story that happened in my travels this summer. You see, my husband and I love traveling and road trips, and we went 14 months after COVID hit without leaving San Diego County. We went 17 months without leaving the state of California, and we were indeed ready for a road trip. So we actually left town on June 16th when the masks came off in California, and we headed across the country. We knew this was going to be travels like really was going to be wonderful for our heart, because we were going to go and see family and friends that we had not been able to see, not be able to travel to be with during COVID. And we had many fabulous adventures. And indeed we did. We hit the sweet spot of time from COVID to travel, having got back in town just as the masks were coming back and Delta was really making its presence known. But the thing I'm going to tell you about was what it took to be able to go and spend 6 days at a family camp in the time of COVID. Well, our dear friends in Minnesota said, do you want to come to our family camp with us? It's a fabulous camp, actually a Unitarian church camp on an island in Minnesota. And don't worry, they said, it's going to be safe, COVID safe. Well, indeed, everyone who was going to the camp had to report in to the COVID coordinator our vaccination status and upload our vaccination card and report the dates that we had been vaccinated. Okay, check. We're able to do that. However, they said in order to make it even more safe, they wanted everyone to have a COVID test within 72 hours of catching the boat to go on the island. Well, I had actually been tested already several times. I'm on staff at Rady San Diego Children's Hospital. They tested staff people. I said, can I test in advance? I can easily do that. No, it must be within 72 hours. But don't worry, it'll be easy. So I said, okay, no problem. I will get to Minnesota, have some time with family and friends, and then make that arrangement. Well, our friends we were going with very quickly made an arrangement, and they said, we sent you a link, the Minnesota Health Department. You can sign up for a test. It's really easy. Go right to the airport. You're set. I said, oh, perfect. We were not far from the airport. Let's go ahead and do that. Well, we went to the site to sign up at the airport, and there in big block red letters across the top, it said, COVID tests are free to all residents of Minnesota. That's cool. Glad to know that. How about non-residents of Minnesota? I had been a resident of Minnesota, but not for the last 23 plus years. And I read all the fine print on the website, couldn't find out. But luckily, this is the year 2021. There was a live chat function. I went on there and I typed out, I see on the website that that tests are free to residents of Minnesota. We're traveling from California. How about for us? Will there be the cost? The person typed back, COVID tests are free for all residents of Minnesota. I know, I got that. How about if you are not a resident of Minnesota, how would it go? And this stymied her. She had no idea. She finally typed back, I don't know. They only told us it was free for residents of Minnesota. I'm going to give you the phone number you can call the testing people. okay, let's go ahead and do that. There's no, just call the testing people. So I called up, said, hello, I am traveling from California. I'm in Minnesota. I'm trying to figure out if there is a cost for testing. She said, COVID tests are free for all residents of Minnesota. Said, okay, I realize that, but I'm traveling. I'm from California and I'm needing to get a COVID test. Is there a cost? She said, COVID tests are free for all residents of California. I said, I know that is, but if you're not a resident, what is it? And you could tell she was looking. She said, well, it might be $89 or it might be $189. Or you could just drop by the site and you could ask them. Maybe I don't really know. Thank you. Is there anything else I could do for you? And she hung up. Okay, I wasn't happy about just dropping by the site, but I am a problem solver. I went online and I remembered Walgreens. Walgreens did COVID tests. So I searched Walgreens COVID test. Oh, great. Sign up for your COVID test here. I'm like, cool. Okay, I got it. So I went on, said, sign up for a COVID test. It said, do you want to start your Walgreens account? Not really, but apparently you had to do that. So I started an account, went through, I found a local Walgreens. It was good. I went on there and I made an appointment, no problem. Then my husband said, will you do mine too? I said, sure. And I put in my same email address. I'll just coordinate this. And it said that email address is already taken. Do you want to add a family member to your Walgreens account? Yeah, I guess I do. So I added a family member, went to go and do his appointment. And suddenly I got pages of questions, especially pages of questions about his health insurance. I had no information about my health insurance. I just made an appointment, but they had health insurance. And then they had secondary health insurance. I said, sweetie, hand it over. I'm going to fill it in. I put all the numbers in, push the button. It said error, put information about health insurance. I tried it every different way. Finally, I clicked the little X that said, I have no health insurance. Bingo, it's good. We're ready. Signed him up, ready to go. He said, okay, we can do this. I knew it. Next morning we got up. First of all, we went to the wrong Walgreens, had to go 2 miles away, went over for COVID tests. You do not go inside the Walgreens. They keep you in your car. We drove right up. I said, please, please, please have us in your computer. Woman looked it up and said, yes, Patti, your COVID test is the 24-hour test. Richard, you have the 72-hour test. I'm like going, wait, why? I signed us up for both of them. Said, that's what the computer says. What do you mean that's what the computer says? I signed it up. Can you change it? No, ma'am. I have to go with what the computer said. So they handed over the exact same test tube with the little thing in your nose, put it in. She said, Patti, your test will be processed on site. Richard, yours we will send off to a laboratory and it'll be back within 72 hours. Same test, send it off. We went back. My results actually showed up in 4 hours. Negative, I'm good. A day went by. 2 days went by. My husband woke up and he said, I had a nightmare. My COVID test never came back and I couldn't get on the boat to go to the camp. Finally, 4 o'clock in the morning, the day before leaving on the trip, it showed up negative. He's good. We got to go. We went on the boat, had a wonderful time, and came right back. But I want you to remember, COVID tests are free to all residents of Minnesota and to everybody else too. In the end, we didn't have a copay. We got our results and we have no idea how we ended up with different tests. So that is my story about going there and coming back, things changing in the time of COVID.